Rotten apples. Charlie's working on the theme song.
Welcome to the inaugural, the first episode of Rotten Apples, where we review Broadway shows since we're
In a very casual setting and manner. Because we know nothing about Broadway or theater or shows. We just like going to them.
both novices, but we moved to New York City and we get rush tickets and we go to the shows and we kind of feel like the reviews are unsatisfactory.
Well, you think that and I do too, but I think some of the reviews are a little too scathing, a little too, I don't know, not for the average human. We're just two normal desk workers going to watch Broadway.
Yeah, and it's so expensive. I feel like we can help people out there that come to New York or that live here and then want to go to a show and they're trying to debate which one, get a rush ticket and go to the one maybe we recommend.
And like, a lot of people come to New York and see like one, maybe two Broadway shows and they want to know things like, how is the venue? What's the merch like? Are there a lot of people? Is it really crowded? What's the general vibe of the audience? Things like that I don't think a lot of reviews cover. So we want to try and cover that as well.
I agree. So I think people get the gist of it.
So Rotten Apples. What are we talking about today, Charlie?
Today we're going to review what we saw last Thursday. I think it was, I forget the exact date myself, but Funny Girl.
Funny Girl. Hello, gorgeous.
That's the opening line. It's loosely based on Fanny Brice. It originally hit Broadway in 1964, became a film. Barbra Streisand won an Oscar. Then years passed by. They revitalized it last year. They started out with Beanie Feldstein. Feldstein, thank you.
Jonah Hill's
sister. Or
fun facts.
Jonah Hill's her brother. I don't know. Depends how you want
Oh.
Fun fact, he's got her name tattooed on his arm.
Oh, really?
It says Beanie. Neither here nor there, but mixed reviews. They did some changes. There was always rumors that Lea Michele was going to take it. And eventually she did.
Because it's like a continuation of her Glee character's plot line or whatever.
Yeah, I think I heard that as well. But anyway, they revitalize it. It's now playing at the August Wilson Theater.
Very cool theater. They have a nice, cool lounge area in the front. I'd recommend going early and checking it out.
So Lea Michele took over, I think July 31st was Beanie's last performance. She took over. Jane Lynch also left. I think just because they were retooling. Anyway, I think Jane thought it was a good time to leave as well since they were going to kind of retool it. People were hoping for some Glee drama. So that was all there. And then, of course, we didn't even... Should we get to that, to the cast?
Well, what's the plot, Charlie? What's Funny Girl about?
So like I was saying...
I had no idea before walking in. So.
Funny Girl is loosely based on comedian Fanny Brice from like the World War I era. So like back in like the Take My Wife Please jokes, she was probably doing Take My Husband jokes back then. And I guess she was a comedian during then. She started out in vaudeville? Vaudeville, yeah. And then she became national known and she was partying with the Marx Brothers, like I think Groucho was buddies with her.
The short summary is that there's a Jewish girl who got famous doing comedic shows, and it impacts her personal life in a somewhat amusing but oftentimes also very real and sad kind of way.
And I think there's a lot of songs people would recognize even if they don't know the musical itself, but they'll hear songs that have been referenced throughout other movies and TV shows.
Yeah. And then how long was it, Charlie? Because we all know that Charlie falls asleep during long movies, plays, television shows that are
funerals, wakes. I'll fall asleep anywhere. I come from a long line of people who fall asleep. I think we'd be drafted in wars, but we were asleep when our numbers get called. So it's just like how we age pretty well too. There might be something to it, people. I forgot what you asked now.
I asked you how long the play was.
The play was 2 hours and 45 minutes, I believe. Maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes.
And there was an intermission.
It's an important distinction these days because we'll get into that in one of
We
our next
recently
reviews.
saw a show that we thought there was an intermission and there wasn't. It was pretty painful.
Yeah, because if you're expecting and it doesn't come,
Yeah.
it takes like a little bit. It takes you out of the play or the musical a little bit when you're expecting.
Totally.
Yeah. So, I think one tip there is just to look for signs in the lobby. Kind of be very cognizant of the signs because I think there was clearly a sign that said no intermission tonight. We just missed it.
They should have announced it though. Anyway, we're getting off track here.
We are.
So Funny Girl, the cast was. Well, you talk about who was the lead actress.
So we.
Oh, we didn't go get the billboard.
Yeah, it was a Thursday, so it's kind of planned that Leah Michelle would not be there, and then her understanding.
But we didn't know that.
Well, I guess I kind of knew she wasn't there a lot. And when you're friends, we got free tickets. Actually, is how we got to go. So I knew when they gave us free tickets that might be the case. But Julie Benko is the understudy, and she was also not there. So we got the third string quarterback, as I like to say. Gloria does not like to say that since she believes they're all professionals.
She is a professional.
She was very, very good. So I think
her name is Effie Ardema. Ardema?
I'd correct you if I could. But I thought she was amazing. I think she knocked it out of the park. I think you noticed a couple things because you're a little bit harder on her than I am. But
yeah, maybe a little harsher.
But she probably never expects to perform because it's like the third string is like.
Yeah, exactly. Like two people have to fall off for you to take the lead. So I think it was her first time playing the lead. It seemed like. So
Leah Michelle obviously was planned, but like, what was Julie Benko doing? I think that's what the audience wants to know. Where was she? Like, she just partied in Soho all night and then just couldn't make it. But anyway, we got to enjoy. What was her name again?
Effie Ardema.
Okay, there you go. She was good, and like I think a couple times we noticed the cast kind of helping her, but that's what they do with live theater.
Live theater.
Yeah.
Who else did we enjoy? What other actors or actresses? I liked the tap dancing guy.
Yeah, and I believe he was nominated for a Tony, right?
He was nominated for.
He was the only one.
He was the only one nominated for a Tony in this show last year. Yeah.
So, well, the fact they only got one, I think, is why the producers were
like,
we need to retool here.
So the tap dancing guy was good. He's on that crappy Netflix show I watch.
He's on a crappy Netflix show?
Well, you don't like it.
Is it that Too Hot to Handle show?
No. It's the one about. It's that one I made you watch on the plane with the really bad dialogue.
Oh, the main guy.
No, he's not the main guy.
Well, her husband in the show.
No, the black guy.
He's on that show.
He's on that show.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood when he told me that night. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know his name? That might help people.
His name is. He's very good. But he's on this show that has poor dialogue. His name is Jared Grimes. He's very, 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 very talented. He was nominated for the Tony. He's a badass tap dancer. And he's very good in the show. Oh, you want to talk about Mr. The lead male love interest.
Yeah, what's his name? And we apologize if you hear it seems like a woman dying. It's actually our dog Reggie who has got some hunger issues, and we feed him all day, but we're not torturing a woman, though, for the record. We have a dog who's just always hungry.
Always, no matter how much you feed him.
Yeah.
The lead male's name is Ramin Karimloo. Karimloo? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But
is he half Iranian?
He's half Iranian, half Canadian.
Okay, because I think the original actor, and his name fails me too. I should do better research next time. He was like half Egyptian. It was like a big deal.
Oh.
So they're trying to kind of stay true to the Jewish lead and then a Middle Eastern country.
That's really interesting.
Probably isn't always a huge fan of Jewish people. I don't know. So
love transcends everything.
Love of acting.
Just saying I'm just saying that love transcends like heritage, culture, like where you're from, who you are. If you love someone, you love someone. That's the whole point. Well, maybe her actual husband was half like some sort of Middle Eastern heritage.
We'll do some research and update the comment board.
Okay, so anyone else in the cast you want to highlight? Oh wait, you forgot to mention one scene that in the show that all the women were like,
Yep. So her husband, the character's name is Nick. It was a very random
Nicholas.
open robe scene. Hold your breath. It wasn't a Jesse Williams type of nudity,
Not,
but
not.
just boxers. But he's definitely showing off some work he's been doing with his core.
And you told me that it inspired you to go to the gym.
Yeah, yeah he's definitely avoiding his poke bowls here and sticking to mostly protein.
Pokeballs have lots of protein.
Well, maybe he gets the right one. So. But yeah, it was kind of a random robe open, little gratuitous robe open. But I heard many women and a couple guys kind of say like, "Ooh."
It was very unexpected.
Yeah, well, it was a memorable scene. I wouldn't say it's a highlight for me.
Definitely
It was a
not.
memorable scene.
It's not one of your 3 highlights.
Wasn't one of my 3 highlights. I think my highlights are probably the songs, a couple of them.
Yeah. And
The
you were
people.
saying the pervasiveness of the songs in culture that you didn't realize came from Funny Girl.
Yeah, the "Rain on My Parade" is like a female empowerment song, which nowadays I think women are always fighting. So I mean, they ever not been since suffrage. I guess have always been fighting. So like maybe in like 2040 we'll get there. Maybe not.
Maybe we'll flip the storyline a little bit in 50 years, but we're not there yet.
But those 2 songs were highlights.
What was the other one?
The people who like people.
Yeah, that's a great song.
And another fun
Very
fact, they
romantic.
originally wanted to cut that in the original, and Barbra Streisand
Wow.
said, "No way."
No, that's like the song that defines the relationship between the two of them.
Yep. So the songs were the 2 highlights. I really liked his tap dancing as well. I think was another.
Yeah, his tap dancing was definitely a highlight.
And I know. Can we get to my buddy, the one who rewrote the book?
Yes, let's do
I
that.
think most people know Harvey Fierstein.
Do your impression of him.
Well, he's the brother in Mrs. Doubtfire, and I think
Who does the makeup?
does the makeup, who helps him become Mrs. Doubtfire, and he's an icon too. I think he's one of the first celebrities to come out in the '80s, so he's an icon in the gay community, and his voice is very memorable, and I should have been an only child. But the highlight for me was I actually thought he was in it when I heard his name, because he's a good actor, and I thought maybe he was in it, but then later we found out he just rewrote the book.
Well, they like teased us with so at the beginning of every Broadway show, they tell you there's like an announcement to tell you to turn off your phones, and
it's like every performance. I know you think they're off, but turn them off.
that's exactly what it sounded like. So Charlie got really excited, and then
I
we
don't know
watched
why
the
I
whole
love him.
show, and he wasn't in it.
I don't know why I love him. I think he was on The Simpsons too, so I've always liked. He's just always such a character, and his
Yeah.
voice is just like one of a kind.
It really is.
So we have another category for delusional celebrity sighting. Give a little context on that is, so we live in New York, and I always try to say someone is a celebrity even if they're not, just to mess with Gloria. And I would say like 40% of the time it probably actually is the celebrity.
Except for the one time you thought that when we saw Tony Shalhoub on the subway, it wasn't Tony Shalhoub, but it actually was.
You thought it was.
I thought it was, and you said no.
Well, he had a COVID mask on, and if it was him, his hair really great.
I think they dye it before he like does any
The
shows.
shows?
And stuff. Yeah.
But the way, okay, like this is a good tip if you're looking for celebrities is look up their spouse. And if that's a match,
Unless they're cheating on their spouse.
yeah, there's always that, but you know, he's too old to cheat. His back hurts probably. You can't cheat on your wife if your back hurts. But that said, his wife was an exact match so I think it was him, and you know, good old New York. He just put a COVID mask on, and it's hard to see. It's really.
He was on the subway. Like they were like normal humans on a subway.
We got to try to find. I think Keanu Reeves always rides the subway. He sticks out like a sore thumb.
That'd be fun.
Well, I think they kind of get our delusional celebrity sightings. I don't think I had one that night, did I?
Well, you were like delusionally happy about maybe seeing Harvey Fierstein show up on stage, and then he wasn't there.
Yeah, and I also thought I would see Leah Michelle, who wasn't there.
Also not there.
So Yeah, I think for this week's episode, our delusional celebrity sighting was at a 0%, and I didn't. But just to add like further context, we've been at not Broadway shows, but off Broadway shows where we ran into Bo Burnham, among others, and I guess we can save those surprises for those episodes.
Face
yeah, you went to.
I saw Billy Eichner at Merrily We Roll Along, just standing outside.
Did he have front row seats?
I like almost physically. I had front row seats.
He did not.
I don't know.
So you had better seats than Billy Eichner.
I don't know. Like everyone's wearing COVID masks in the front row, so I didn't see anybody in the audience. And as we were leaving the show, we were looking at the shows that were coming up, and this really tall guy just stood in front of us, and I was like trying to look around him at first and see the shows, and then I was like, wait, that's a really familiar silhouette. And it's Billy Eichner.
It was before you and I watched Bros.
It was before Bros.
Would you have said something about the movie?
No, I don't think so.
You just leave him alone?
Yeah. Well, he was like with some chick or something that he's probably friends with. I don't know.
Okay. I think.
So what was the vibe of the crowd? Did you feel like it was mostly tourists? Was it people who are big fans of the show, etc.?
Well, when you and I walked up, the people with actual tickets flew right in because everybody was at the box trying to buy.
Yeah.
So that makes me believe it's either tourists.
There was a really long line for the box office tickets.
I think it was tourists trying to get a ticket that day to it.
But we flew right in. There was like very few. The line wasn't very long, but the audience was packed. And there were, I would imagine that there's some tourists because there were a lot of people going up and down even after the show started.
Yeah, there was. There's a lot of people, because it was long, there was definitely some people having to get up and pee or vape or whatever.
So the venue, August Wilson Theater, a very nice theater. When you walk in the front doors and to the left, there's a really cool lounge area and it's very well painted. And they also have, last time I was there and I got to wander, they have the history of a lot of the shows that have been hosted at the August Wilson Theater, so you can walk around and there's a big picture of each of the shows, and you get to read like a little bit of the history, which I thought was really unique. A lot of theaters don't have that, so I think it would be actually worth going a little bit early just to like sit in the lounge and like walk around.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing that someone not being into Broadway shows even thinks about is how historic these venues are.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to like look up. Like physically look up when you sit down because oftentimes the ceiling is like beautifully decorated. There's sometimes a very amazing chandelier. There's just all these little Easter egg artistic architectural details to these theaters that have been around for 100 years that people I feel like just glaze over.
Even if you think actors should be locked up with other communists, you can enjoy the architecture.
Thanks, Charlie. And then there is merch. There is alcoholic beverages for sale. We didn't do either of those, but just so that you're aware, because I think there are some shows where there is no merch, and then there's no beverages for sale either. So
oftentimes we'll maybe just do like a club soda for cheap. It's usually like still $6 or something.
Oh, but they do have the Funny Girl branded cups, which I always look for. I always look for being able to get a beverage and a like little piece of merch as well, and that's a show where you can do that.
That's a good tip, even though we've got 45 of them.
I know we have so many. We didn't. That's why I didn't get it that time.
Apologies if they're bad for the environment.
So another hack is if you buy a drink before the first act, and then at halftime, at intermission, you take that same cup back, you should get a discount on your beverage. So if you want 2 beverages, that's one way to do it.
Price-wise, I don't recommend getting drinks at Broadway or off-Broadway shows.
Definitely not. Some shows have a like show-themed cocktail. I don't know if they have one there. I don't think so, though. This is a bad example, but if you go to like the Harry Potter show, there's like a Harry Potter-themed beverage. If you go, I think there's one at Moulin Rouge, I think, had one. Don't quote me on that.
Dumbledore cognac.
Dumbledore, but okay.
Dumbledore. What's it like a Muggle mojito?
Muggle mojito. Well, that would probably not have any magic in it, so it would probably be like a non-alcoholic beverage.
Not gonna do anything for you, but
Charlie has not seen the Harry Potter show yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, maybe I'll go.
Okay, was Funny Girl everything that you hoped and dreamed it would be, even though your beloved Leah Michelle was not there?
Okay, I think beloved is pushing it, but I am a star. I'm trying to use like the least offensive term to say this. A star lover, set of other terms I could use, but I look forward to like when we go to Kill a Mockingbird. It's cool when Jeff Daniels or Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear never made it. That was so sad.
I was applauding. I have very strong feelings with Greg Kinnear. We can unpack at a future podcast.
If you want to hear Charlie talk more about his negative feelings towards Greg Kinnear, please tune into.
He's great in
our
autofocus.
future episodes.
As good as it gets, too. He's pretty good. There's one scene especially I like.
Okay.
When he gets robbed and beaten.
Expectations of versus reality. Was it?
I didn't really have large expectations. I think I was kind of thrown off by main actress and the understudy were gone. I didn't expect the third, but she was really good.
You weren't expecting the third string quarterback.
Yeah,
Okay.
so. But maybe we had a more unique experience. But I think overall, to me, I think I told you this right after, is that it felt like an old-timey movie, and I like old-time movies.
Yeah.
It was very well done, and I think it was fun to kind of connect those songs where I'd heard before, and like, oh, they're from this, and then you can do a deep dive on the internet afterwards, and everybody was good, and it was really, it was 2 hours and 50 minutes with an intermission, but it flew. Like I could see it again, and that's big for me because
really
I can't.
I know.
A lot of these shows I can't go back.
And would you have paid? I know we didn't pay for it, but would you have paid? I think the going rate is like $80 a pop right now. Let me actually look it up right now.
I definitely think if you can get a ticket for less than $100, it's worth it.
Oh wow! But you would have paid $80.
I would have paid, I think $99 is where I would probably pause. Then you'd probably have to go a Leah Michelle night and be a Glee fan.
Oh, okay. It's 60. It's 70 plus fees, so it would be like 85.
But if you are a tourist and like one of the shows you can only see one show, I would recommend it. That would be one of the ones I recommend.
Wow, that's a very high review from you.
That's high praise.
Gosh, we just watched National Treasure last night, so Charlie is in a Nick Cage. National Treasure. We'll review that if you want to hear that.
Well, I can only review like the first.
Well, you missed the last like 20 minutes.
Hour and 50 minutes,
which was very important to the plot. What a great movie. Anyway, yeah. Okay, you would. I'm gonna let Charlie's review on that stand. I won't give too much more commentary. So yeah, I think is that it for
Pretty
us.
much it, but we've got one called the Afterglow.
What's the Afterglow, Charlie?
How we still feel like after like.
Oh yeah, it's been like
the time since we've seen it.
Sure, it's been a couple days. I think I wasn't sure what I was expecting walking in, and it was very, very good. I did enjoy it a lot. I feel the same. I feel the same about it as I did. I think some shows you like 5 days later, you're like, oh, that was so much better, or like, oh my gosh, that was actually like not as good as I thought it was initially. I feel pretty much the same about it. I wouldn't say that it's my favorite Broadway show or musical, but I did enjoy it. I'm not sure I would pay to see it again, but I would recommend that people go see it. It was cute.
Yeah,
I liked
I'm kind of there, but I guess if I did go back, we'd want to see one of the other two actresses in the lead.
Oh yeah, if you want, yeah, I can see that.
Then we could compare, but again, like we have to get free tickets or something. I don't think I would pay $100 to go back.
You wouldn't pay $100. Would you pay $80 to go back?
To
see Leah Michelle.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. So that's our review. Just to summarize, great show, a lot of fun, great music. Would you pay to see it the first time? Yes. Would you pay to see it again? Maybe not. If you like classic Broadway musicals, this is the show to go see.
She said it best, and if you've got any comments or questions, put them on the board.
Hit us up on our Instagram, which is forthcoming. It's up, but I haven't posted that much on it. It's Rotten Apples Pod _. If you have any questions, please post there. And we will be having a next episode. And the show is going to be about...
What's it called again?
Oh my gosh, Charlie. We just watched.
I know, I forget the title.
It's called Pictures from Home.
Pictures from Home.
And it has Nathan Lane in it, so... Look out for
The
that.
incomparable.
The incomparable.
He's probably very
Nathan
comparable.
Lane. He also has a very iconic voice, much like Harvey Firestein.
At my funeral, can you have people say the very comparable?
The very comparable Charles Tremere.
Like
Okay.
overly comparable.
Everyone looks like you. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, tune in next time for our review on Pictures from Home.
Pictures from Home. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.